What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for being here, hanging out with me today. We're gonna talk about one of my favorite foundations right now. I've been using it a lot, but specifically I'm gonna be talking about a technique or a couple of techniques that I use to mix it. I initially used just a skincare, and lately I've been starting to use them mixed in my favorite foundation. So I have the Clinique Moisture Surge 72-hour auto replenishing hydrator, and I actually believe that they have like a 90 or 100-hour, like they've updated this formula since. Kind of like mixing it in my foundation for more of that like tinted BB cream or serum-y foundation effect. And then the other one, which kind of does the same thing more or less, but I do find that mixing them works well, is this is the Flower CBD Chill Out Skin Serum. And this is infused with hemp-derived CBD. It's a nice, like, just calming effect on my dry skin, but I don't find that it's like hydrating enough. However, I do like it for like makeup skin prep. Perfect foundation for me that I've been using to mix one or the other with a 24-hour infallible Pro Glow. This is the Pro Glow, not the matte. And I find that by itself, this is very full coverage and does have a very nice, like, very semi-radiant finish. I think it's more of like a natural radiance in my opinion. So I like the radiance on this, just sometimes I don't want full coverage, and I find that the consistency of this and the formula, I'm guessing, works nicely for mixing with other types of ingredients. But today I think I'm gonna do like half a face of each and just see how they wear side by side, because in my head they kind of do the same thing. Now mixing the foundation with the Clinique Hydrator, I find you get a little bit more of a glossy finish for the first few like hour or two of wear time, whereas this is definitely still a radiance, but it has a slightly more natural like finish. It's a little bit tacky feeling, but it doesn't have like the same shine that this does. A little more foundation than this, like just a little bit over 50-50 is a nice, and that's of course considering you're into that type of finish in your foundation. You know, if you have this and enjoy full coverage and aren't interested, then thank you for being here and watching anyway. So for me, this is just sort of sharing with you hopefully some creative ideas to mix your makeup and some, you know, combos that I'm enjoying for different results. And it's really fun to just like vary the application technique a little bit or mix it with something and just get like a whole new product out of it. I just think that's really fun. So that's what today's video is all about. Hope you enjoy, and thank you so much for watching. Whenever I use the Clinique, I'm gonna go ahead and just do a base, a very thin base, not as much as I would normally do my skincare. I'll be very careful to just do half my face. And just let that sink in. I'm gonna go ahead and just prep the other side, do the same thing. And with this particular one, I kind of just dab it like that. Again, not as much as I would normally do. This is just to give a little bit of glide to the skin. And I'll show you each product I do a different technique. So I'll show you each one, and this just kind of helps melt everything together. I'm just taking them out, and now on the back of my hand, and then I'll do close to 50-50, so maybe 2 drops. I don't use a lot of this foundation even when I want full coverage, so take that into consideration that I'm always very light-handed with foundation anyway. So if you typically like, you know, if you want to try this technique but a little bit heavier coverage, you know, it's cool, just add a couple extra drops. And I do find that even if I don't mix enough, I do have enough time to like mix more and add it in, and it's okay. So let me show you that now. So it's just on the back of my hand. I'm going to take a flat brush. I love applying foundation with these types of brushes when I'm not using my fingers. Okay, reminding myself this side over. So I kind of just use the brush and mix it on my hand a little bit. Just make sure it's a nice consistency. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just start applying. And this is more like a BB cream. It's a nice light feeling, but I find that it does, you know, cover imperfections. It does give me that coverage. more than a tinted BB cream actually does. I usually have a little bit of spotting along here, redness here, and then I have like redness here. So I like when my foundation is very skin-like. You can still see, you know, freckles and things like that. However, I do want my skin tone to be even. I don't want, you know, patchiness and hormonal redness and that sort of thing. So that's usually what I'm looking to correct in my foundation routine. Makeup wears better on me when I'm not doing too much. So this is a nice technique. And if you are struggling and maybe think that that's what might not be working for you, it might not be actually the makeup. You just need to consider kind of your skin. And then whatever's left on the brush, I'll just kind of gently dab over my eyelids to kind of color correct there. So hopefully you guys can see on camera and in this lighting, you know, it's a very subtle correction. Let's see. Forehead is probably the easiest to tell. You know, I still have some freckles and some sunspotting here, but as you can see, the redness is canceled and things are just slightly more blurred. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and use a little bit different technique on this side when I'm using this little bit more liquidy product, whereas the hydrator was a bit more of like a gel. So it really doesn't matter. I don't think this would make a huge difference. I just find that I like this application just slightly better when I'm doing this technique for a liquidy product like this. And that's where I actually just mix it together on my face. And then I usually rub it in with my fingers. So I'm going to kind of, let me get it a little closer, do just some dots. Not too much, because again, my goal isn't like high coverage foundation today, which is why I'm doing this. I want more of like a skin-like finish and more of like a light to medium coverage. Okay, so I'm just taking a few drops and I'm just going to very carefully dot around my face. And then I like to use my fingers and not the brush for this because it is so liquidy. I just mix it right on the skin. With my finger. So I got a little bit higher coverage on this side. That's okay. When it dries, it takes a little bit longer for this wetness to dry. It definitely evens out. Again, just tapping lightly with whatever's left on my hand. Now this is very still wet right now, very tacky, and I can definitely play around with application. So definitely don't forget the chin, don't forget your ears, jawline. Okay, I think I did okay considering I only did half and half. So I think I got just slightly more coverage on this side. I'm just gonna mix a little bit again. And again, this is where I'm usually using one or the other, so I don't have to worry about matching the coverage. It just sort of is what it is. And I do find that a little bit goes a longer way with the foundation with this product opposed to the more gel-like product. So I'm just gonna add mix it with the brush and just apply a little more right over the top. Okay, so then the thing that I normally do once I've applied the foundation the way I want is I'll take a sponge like this. You can get a pack of these for just a few bucks at the drugstore. I just like to press everything in. I'm sure you can use your beauty blender too. I don't use those. I usually use these instead. For my fingers. So the next for concealer, I will just use the straight up foundation. So now your concealer and your foundation match perfectly. That's where I was like, with this technique, my favorite thing. I don't like heavy foundation and I don't use a lot of concealer, but So wherever you need to correct, I have more redness in this area. And you don't have to use your finger, you can use your favorite brush, you can use a sponge. Like, because I'm actually using a foundation, everything's pretty forgiving. So there, that's what we have. Hopefully you can see, you know, in this lighting and everything okay, and in my check-ins that this is fairly similar. So let's go ahead and finish up the base. I have some new products that I've been trying out to show you. One of them is the Physicians Formula Sculpting Bronzer. It says organic wear with jojoba oil. But I find that this is really nice for sculpting. It does exactly what it says. It's a nice bronzy color, but I can kind of sculpt out the cheeks a little bit. So I wanted to show you how this works today. We'll just use this right over these nice creamy products. It smells like a lipstick, like an unscented lipstick. It kind of freaks me out a little bit, not gonna lie, but it works nicely. The other thing about this is it feels like it's never gonna blend out. It's slow to blend out. It's beautiful, but I'm here to tell you, just keep blending. Don't freak out. It's okay. Every time I use it, even knowing that, I'm still like, oh my god, what did I do to my makeup? And it turns out beautiful every time. Okay, so something like that. Less is more for now. We can always add more. And then my favorite way for this particular kind of stick foundation, because it's nice and creamy. It's got like an oily, like slick, buttery feeling to it that some sticks are like, they feel like they're gonna just drag off whatever is underneath of them. This one's not like that, but okay. Perfect example. You're gonna watch me blend and blend and blend, and it turns out lovely. But you like start to think that it's never gonna blend out. Especially that lipstick smell is just like, are you sure? There, just very gently with this long bristle flat brush. I just find that it adds a nice amount of pressure, and if I go in one direction, it just keeps the sculpt that I like. You just gently blend, 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 blend. Like I said, don't freak out, it blends out. Okay, I just sort of gently brush it into the hairline the way I would like a contour. Leave room for it to blend. You keep it back here so it has room to blend forward. You don't want to apply the product all the way out here to where you want the blend to finish, because then you're going to wind up with too much. Like, a little goes a long way. I'm kind of going back and forth now that it's slightly blended. And the nose. I like contouring with this. I'll take the brush and just cool. So I used it as a bronzer, but as you can see, I still kind of did a little bit of sculpting with it. So I think it does what it says it does. Other than the slow blend, which when I'm using this foundation technique, I really love this over it. If you like to set or want to set, when I set, I like to use this Infallible Pro Glow powder. So like an illuminated side and then more of like a matte side. So you can, this is really nice for touching up because it does have a little bit of pigment in the powder as well. So if I need to set, I'll do that with this. For now, I'm kind of not going to set. I might do that in a check-in later. I'll show you guys how I would normally set, because I think usually that's how I normally go about my day. I don't set unless I need to or feel like I need to. So I'm not going to set until later check-in. And then for now, I'm going to show you, I'm going to use the Signature Ombre Blusher in Orange Blossom from Moira Cosmetics. Isn't that so pretty? It's just so lovely. So I think I'm going to use a little bit more of this deeper side today. And I'm going to start right here in the high cheek and then just dab on the apples. Do more of a sculpting type blush today. On a day where I wanted maybe a little bit more of a natural look, I would just tap on the apples and be done. I have to set my brush down and stop myself because I tend to go overboard with the cheek products. I don't know why. I just really like bronzer, and lately I've been liking blush. I didn't used to be such a blusher, but I'm into it now. I like it a lot. I think it was because of these blushes, to be honest. They're so pretty. Okay, they're very, very pigmented, so they are not the friend of the heavy hand person like myself. So just boop, boop, and you're done. Okay, and I find that a bigger brush like this to really kind of buff it out is nice for that kind of sun-kissed look. So yeah, on the nose. And that's it. I think today I'm not really gonna do any type of highlight since we're kind of checking in on these foundation techniques. I don't really want to mess with like the finish too much other than the blush. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it like this. I have another video I'm filming. When I check in with you guys, I will have some eyes applied, and that video coming up. So here's the two sides. I think that they have a very similar finish. I do think that this does appear a little bit more glossy at first, and they both like really kind of set down after a while. And again, if you really want to, you can, you know, apply a powder and set everything and do your base like how you would normally do it. Hopefully you guys can see a slight difference. This side is the Clinique, this side is the Flower Beauty Serum. So I'm gonna bring you with me. We're gonna check in probably every like 3 hours-ish and just see how they're wearing and how they compare in the wear. So we will be right back. Okay, so first check-in. I just finished filming another video and doing this eye look. And here's the foundation. Here is the serum side, and this is the Clinique Hydrator side. So still both looking, you know, pretty good, and I have not set them yet. So still slightly radiant, you know, still giving me that coverage. I still think that they're both wearing pretty similarly too. This side might be breaking up slightly where I had the bronzer compared to this side. Interesting. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and set my face, and I'll show you guys what I use, and then I'll come back and check in. So I just powdered a little bit with my Infallible Pro Glow, and I think that just gets everything kind of neutralized again. Give me a little bit more coverage in these areas, that powder, and then just kind of tone down the shine a little bit to natural radiance. Still wearing pretty well though, I think. Okay, so that's all the powdering I'm going to do today. I just didn't do that earlier. I wanted to do that when I was all done filming, you know, the lights and everything kind of break things up. So I wanted to reset and then check in. Still looking pretty nice. This is in the window, natural lighting. It's holding up pretty good. I mean, it's still at like natural finish. See, I mean, nothing's breaking up or looking like uneven. Still like looking really nice and fresh. And this eye look is from another video that's upcoming. That's holding up well too, but that's not what this video is about. The foundation with the serum and with the hydrator. Okay, so this will probably be last check-in. It's almost 6 o'clock, so we're probably gonna go do some swimming now that there's still sunshine, but the sun is kind of dwindling. So yeah, that's it. So here's the Clinique Hydrator side. Here's the serum side, and both just really looking pretty good. They're still very skin-like. They're not really breaking up. You know, I still have that slight radiance. You know, I could powder again if I want to, but I don't feel like I have to. So yeah, I already know that I personally like this technique and have fun with this technique, but hopefully this is enough to convince you guys to give it a try if you're interested in some new formulations, but with a foundation that you already know is a tried and true. So curious, comment down below if you guys try any mix-ins with your foundations. What do you use? What do you like? And definitely let me know if you try this combo.